Oh, da karsore. Chego rimba sungi kola ya kamishuere kasin kolu tambu de docharwa warana silia ka tambu dinshi chongo singat kora. Ta de kapsu sungje dilia damba shiche. Ani chö tamje rang changi yutuba rangune tuba damba tuba de shisha shasha yora kagi yomare sungbara. Ani chiru yoba sede. Chilo gi su Tadre Jala Soba so Semblea Mandeva Chipinetsu Yovaton Chiru Tondo Tuba said this one. Tilla Sison and Chirama and Dodibas and get to the Nisora. Dama Nise, Dama, the Chilo Toyova Mawasura. Conzo Rangacini Tuba Kalingra, Demba Tuba Kalingra. And it Demba Shin and a Dame there. Rangia to be said, the Dame said, Sitangdo. Oh, soon said to just throw it. Nyandu tingi teacher of Slona.
So, good morning. We're going to continue with the teachings on the three turnings of the wheel of Dharma. So far, we have covered the first turning, the turning of the wheel of Dharma, the first turning on the wheel of Dharma, on the Four Noble Truths, and the Four Noble Truths are given by the Buddha with the assumption that every phenomena intrinsically exists, things truly exist, that they have intrinsic existence, true existence, and at the same time there are extra-mental phenomena, that is, there are things outside the domain of the mind, external phenomena, that is, which is going to be refuted by one of the philosophical schools later on. So based on the first turning of the wheel of Dharma, we have the development or the growth of the first two Buddhist philosophical schools, referred to as the Vaibhashika school and the Sautrantika school, and they basically, two of the key features in terms of their philosophy is that they believe that everything intrinsically exists and that there are extra-mental phenomena. And the three turnings of the wheel of Dharma, actually right now we are relying on a particular sutra that is consulted by the mind-only school, the Buddhist Yogacara school, and according to that particular sutra, there is the classification of three turnings of the wheel of Dharma. So we are doing the turnings according to that particular text.
Oh yeah. Oh, this is that in a condemnation by Colo Parba, condemnation by Colo Parba set, oh, Chago Pongbi relation, Song Satisera, and if somewhere they should have the Paro to Chimbendos, that take what Chimbendo, Sheching in those Ezra, Shirab Yimbulas of Tesora, Boom da Gadon Basero, take what Chimbe Namsha Sungura, Tombani so Chemoso, and it take what Chimbe Lam Gidim Bakanga Sungura, Tela Colo Parba Segua, condemnation by Colo Parba setera.
So that sutra that is employed by the Yogacara school to classify teachings into these three turnings is the Sutra Unraveling the Intent, Samdhi Nimojana Sutra. Now the second, according to that, the second turning of the wheel of Dharma happened at modern-day Rajgriha, a place called Rajgriha, Vulture's Peak, in modern-day Bihar. And there the Buddha gave the second turning, which is basically sutras such as the 100,000 versed sutras, 8,000 versed sutras, and so forth, where the subject matter is the perfection of wisdom teachings.
Oh yeah, that take up so Shakari Sungurasana. Sure, Tamjet Temper Madrubas, Taki Kolo Tambu Kapso, Sonia Palamia like Geshe Yeshe Thabkhe. Tebachimbe Lamji Namshatu Sheri Omara, Kolotambu Kapso, Sonia Palamia like Jagi Pardo, Rangaching Yuba Temper Yuba Sora. Oh, ta kolo babe kapsu sune che ane gocho ne sangye ki bardo tekpa chenpyo lamdo su chazan yungura. O tezo changma de tenbar me rangi chenyi ki me sungu yara. Oh, di hindu de tene ane umabe chukdati yungudo. Chö tamche tenbar me baase. Ane tekpa chenpyo lamge namshatu su khe lenge. Kolo dangbo de kanka khe lenge yara. De kanliya kolo barba sungbe tekpa chenpo tarba toba zamayinba sangye ki koban topsi tab tenbe dote redi yara.
So according so in the first turning of the wheel of Dharma, it is said that every phenomena that is from ordinary material form, such as a table, all the way to the teachings on the eightfold noble path, they truly exist. They intrinsically exist. But in the first turning of the wheel of Dharma, they did not actually teach Mahayana teachings. Their fundamental practice revolves around what we now refer to as the eightfold noble paths. Then in the second turning of the wheel of Dharma, they teach that every phenomena that is from physical form all the way to the state of enlightenment and all the paths, bodhisattva grounds and so forth, they do not inherently exist. They don't exist from their own side. They do not have true existence. And so this is and based on that we have the Mahayana vehicle, and based on that we also have the Mahayana teachings. But something we have to keep in mind is that Mahayana tradition, which is actually based on the second turning, also accept the first turning teachings as well as the foundational teachings.
Oh, yeah, this one. Oh, that the Karishego Rasana. The Anjigangi, Tanya Yawangi, Yangi, Tondambani, Mayinos, and so may Damis, Tenima, Kangame Songura. The go check condition in Aya. Judan Gangi to Mambuzi Son to Gangora. And the Koran case of the Koran, all as Chashan, Dakshin of Chamambu, and Gash Kigramado, Suchi Robert may get Chiganganji, Gay Yomara, to train a Chami Chixi Gay Yomara. So, Judan came Mambuson, I gave what it, and the Koran all to the Chashan of Mambu Session. Kangbazina Koda gave one sick to train Mambuyora, or the Dejavs Kigora. Tell a ten and the Kangbares at that to change in Koda gave one that taught that to the resident Kambake Maro. The man at Tesola Tene and the Kangbares Patagora. Or Jidan Tanya Young, or Tesam Kambasha would say, Mato, what condition at Tesalapa. Taxi Chashel at ten, my Indian Chasha Mambuchor, Teletan Palo Tapan, this is in Telpa, Shana Tobe, Tanya Wangisha would ask. You couldn't win a Chichana or Tende Yomares, Temper Yomares, Songua. Tangaranzo Tondus and Ambukartongos and answered Sobo Pasha, Sam Pasha, Swap Pasha, and Rawa Chivia Sambudua. Tanashi, Yedumewa, Tra, Yen Koran Chu Tubashi, Jesuchena, near Yomaris Tongua. Tendeke Yomar, Koran Mayangan Janga Sodora, and so log Mayangan Chichi in Siapa Tagiora. Satan Jigangi, Tanya Yongangi. Don't number Naranzo Tonashi, Temba Yomaris, Nazu Tunju Nashi, Temba Marese, Nazu Tunju de la Rawan to Tubash, Randa, Shen, Chida Nagango, Yedom, Kanga, Rawan to Tubaston, and de la Tana and a condo down I get that Shadan Kigora, which is what the Yomaris Songora. Teach land. Me say Kanga Dendura, Ta me Chibumare, Ta Mevanashi, Pumbunga Buteda, Jang Rangshin to Tombanamel, Ta Rawa Mevanashi, Pumbunga, and it is so made damage to Mekanga, teaching by the Chukanga, Rawan to Dribet Dangi to Meva, tell us shut them jet Meva. Garanzo Rawan to Truba was Tongi, Tonish, Dember, when I shut them jet Dember Meva, Rangi Chengi Mevas, or teacher.
So, the most prominent feature of the second turning of the wheel of Dharma which is basically the teachings on what we call as selflessness or emptiness, means that things do not have any inherent, independent, intrinsic existence. Things only exist because based on the basis of designation, for example, a particular thing such a house, based on the basis of the designation of its parts, such as the windows, the door, the walls, the roof, and so forth, which are not individually the house, that we conceptually infer, we conceptually impute the notion of the house. So therefore, like that, every phenomena is based on its parts, is conceptually, mentally imputed, and it does not exist from its own side. So therefore, if we are not contented with the house as being a conventional conceptual label or imputation, and if we try to find where the house actually is, which is basically our natural instinctive assumption, is there is kind of really existing house-ness out there. But if we try to find that in the windows or the door or the walls, we will not actually find the house there. So the house is conceptually imputed, and therefore it does not exist inherently, does not exist independently, without depending on many causes and conditions, many parts. Similar to that, the import of the second turning is that every phenomena is like that. Even the state of enlightenment is like that. That apart from conceptual imputation, mental labeling, things do not actually exist from their own side. But nonetheless, we have to be able to appreciate that there is a fundamental difference between the way things appear to us intuitively and the way things truly are. And that is the purpose of doing philosophy, is to really make this distinction. Is the way things appear to us is because of our conditioning. Things appear to us as if they are intrinsically existent, truly exist from their own side, does not actually depend on our own conceptual label or conceptual imputation. And because of that, we have a solid notion of an independently existing self, independently existing enemies, independently existing so-called friends, and so forth. And that is why we generate negative emotions and defilements such as aversion and craving and attachment and anger and so forth. And so therefore, the goal of doing the middle way philosophy is to fundamentally change this instinctive way of looking at things, the assumption that things have intrinsic existence, and to look at that when we actually do engage in analysis, nothing intrinsically exists from their own side. Even the notion of enemies and friends is something that is conceptually imputed. And so that notion of emptiness doesn't mean that things exist, nothing exists at all, nothing like that. Emptiness means there is no inherent independent exist. So just like self, we refer to every phenomena as empty. So therefore in Heart Sutra we say, form is emptiness, feeling is emptiness, the compositional actions is emptiness, consciousness is emptiness, and so forth. So we refer to all phenomena in that sense as empty, but empty of intrinsic existence.
Goya that Karsura Thabkhe chane, Sangbu chane, Thabkhe chane, Karishe Gurusana. Simja Kanga de Ran, Dewan de la Dunga Mendobanashi, Swa de Sangmaligo de Ese, Chiba de Ese. Then the Ran Sawa Mendobanashi, Ran Neva Mendobanashi, Shan Sawa Mendoba de Ese. Then the Shan Sawa Sobati Pango de Ese. Shan Dungele Tawa, Shala Dunga Guamare, Ran Dunga Mevasno, Dunga de Tendo, Tawa, the Tom de Samu de Ese. And Samala Nirin. Nada Shan, Najuda Konzo, Yuda, Mirida, Tindig, sometime on my summer chip by the Esongora. Chambata Ninji Sera, Danyum Sera, Kanga, chip by the Esa. And the Kawasa, Kawachemis. So Yabuchona Kawana, she mission that some condition, Yabuchonsona Kawakom with the Esa, Kawachemis, Ninji Semes, Danyum Semis, did it, take a member cups or Sungura, or teaching cups or Sungura. Nibadela Semjan Kanga, Rankion did Janjamara, Kyo Mambulang or a Mambalang Sara. Says a Kyo Nazi Purvamado, Pama Jurwata, Chichil, Robaches, Semjas, Katutsona, Chisoja, Chichil, Thursday, Delni Sogamado, Social Tangansi, Sotua Omara. She's the Tata Shan, Karsel, Yamba, Takshan Yamba Sera. Oh, this was a. The reason that some condition would raise, permanent race, someone at the time would raise. Kadu in a Kavalana, Shan, Thursday, then around so your race. Oh, the day some Lutane, and Shangy, Tonda Kudukine, Daga Chigging is a Rankion could say, you don't condemn Chichene, Shangy Pemba Tuba, Chigging is a Ranchibo, Tarbatoba some, then Digmedo some. Dagwe shenji be chanju semse sosole shen kesos dit te wasimbe na sheura ngendo doda teme kapsa chamba chame ngi chame kawa chame yore ta dage chigi sam rangle shen keso de cheto go mara tabji chane otende kesdo dichi.
So that is the what we call as the wisdom aspect of the Mahayana training. The import of the second turning of the wheel of Dharma, which distinguished itself from the first turning where the Buddha taught that things have true existence. But there is also a fundamental difference in terms of the aspect of what we call as method. Method here referring to practices of compassion. Here in the Mahayana tradition, and as well as in Theravadan tradition, there is a fundamental understanding that all sentient beings want happiness and do not want suffering. And so therefore that becomes the foundation for an ethics of compassion and non-violence. And so therefore we engage in such practices as immeasurable loving kindness, immeasurable compassion, immeasurable joy, immeasurable equanimity, and so forth. Immeasurable joy means basically, wanting all sentient beings remain in that state of happiness and without ever kind of losing that state, for example. So these fundamental teachings are founded on the fact that in the Buddhist tradition, there is the belief that there is rebirth, and we have taken countless number of lifetimes. Countless number of lifetimes in the past. We will take countless number of lifetimes in the future until we achieve the state of enlightenment. And in these countless number of lifetimes, we have been related to all sentient beings. They have been once mothers, parents, and sisters and brothers and so forth. In not just in one lifetime, but many lifetimes. And so therefore, even though we don't remember it, the Buddhists actually take that as a foundation for actually practicing tremendous love and compassion for others, which relies on the fundamental assumption that there is rebirth. But even if there is no rebirth, even in a social context, without other sentient beings, the understanding is that without other sentient beings, we cannot actually develop ourselves fully. We cannot actually experience joy and happiness that we have in the absence of other sentient beings. So therefore, our happiness is directly linked to other sentient beings. So therefore, in the Mahayana tradition, then we take this logic to not only to seek liberation for oneself, but to seek the state of complete enlightenment so that one can actually help other sentient beings to go to the state of enlightenment themselves as well. So even though there is immeasurable compassion, even in the Theravada tradition, the fundamental difference between the Hinayana and Mahayana tradition is in Hinayana tradition, the goal is to actually seek individual liberation alone. Whereas in the Mahayana tradition, the goal is not just contented with that, but to seek the state of perfect Buddhahood, which is complete omniscience, so that one can help other sentient beings.
Oh, the Hindu Karsura. Oh, the Karsura. Sanje Shaja Tobala Soba. Kanku say, you and their Kundengi, Kamnita to Mamboyora. Or Kozang Ranzo Nashitan, which is something as the same Ransi Chibayora. ngazo de chikba je rema do tambune ko sangyen gyoji yo ma de sigora tendu ngarazo la sangye ki rigi wa de sigora ngazo sem de ko rangshin gi we sa negab khondo da nga je da chado da chakda da tinde ko lubur wa de takba re shi yong go ya ji ma re ti pa kha chen ne chi gi wa de se jima thang ma lubur wa de se sem gi kyan kang ga lubur wa de mishi be mong ba sam ma lubur wa de me ba so ya yo de sigora sem ge rangshin ina mishi ba chi yin go da khondo yin go yo ma de se sem ge rangshin yo sa de ti so ja ngarazo thar chin be sangye ji ko ma shang tön chuba la kön kön se yenden kunde langdur ji ne sama shengen gi kibu re gi yore tinde ji re sona ne ngazo shang tön lab chwa ma bu chup tu res tanda ngarazo shenda tön chuba la so so yenden chi yo na shenda tön kya chi ju ma bu chup tu do o din na shi ra yenden thar chin na shang tön lab chin bu chup tu res tene sangye ji ko ba thobar cha se changju gi sam se de ge ji she yo ra te ba chin bu ka so ti chi la.
So this aspiration to achieve the state of enlightenment is also grounded on the on the reality that every sentient being can become fully enlightened, a complete Buddha, and that is because the fundamental nature of the mind is clarity itself. The fundamental nature of awareness is clarity in the sense that it is not fundamentally tainted by negative emotions or defilements such as anger, hatred, or desire, attachment, and even ignorance. Ignorance is something that is not actually fundamental nature of the mind. It is not, ignorance does not taint the fundamental clarity nature of the mind, luminous nature of the mind. These defilements are temporary, just produced by temporary conditions. And so therefore, with training, with meditation, with practice, they believe is that, we can achieve the state of enlightenment. And so therefore we seek that goal, because once we are fully perfected in terms of mental qualities, we can benefit sentient beings at the kind of most optimal level. Similarly to if we have more knowledge and we are trained in many things, we can help more sentient beings even now. So similarly to that, when we actually achieve the state of Buddhahood, then we are equipped with the optimal capacity to benefit sentient beings.
Oh yeah, that don't call barbe kapsu shotamje ngaranzu tonis tembar me rangune truba me songbara tambu kapsu ye songra ta tekba chimbe namshabsu phashara shotamje rang chengi ye tembar ye songra o teson shadu chanju semba tondam yanda pha shonge jora dig sangye chomden de tawashivere o chomden de kol tambu kapsu rang chengi ye son asa kol barwe kapsu yang chotamje rangune me rang damba me sheji son ting gawan do chomden de gawan yong sing mare karjen songbare se kol tambu kapsu me son de kares tambu kapsu ye son kares tawachera o ti phazu sangye de tawachelen cheben do de ya tondam yanda pha gi shibe luus gora sendi ne mu chen se de kol thama se de o ti tawashu de ne sangye pha len son ne o tambu kapsu nge de she de nibe kapsu de she de yin se je kaga kweba kaga song yora o ti indu kar so re kol tam de tene sangye song ba de de song go de kare sangye ganga kingi yora phajo de tuje rik kande yon sare o de samlu ta ni ya rikji yon sare de samlu tuje khamda samba ongbu rimba che ganga kingi yora de kindu za kashele rangune yo tembar yo song ne ani shenda labje de song ne yaga yon gora kashele tongni chamu song ne ya ne yaga yon gora o de indu za sangye jomden de che song de la tuje khamda samba da negab ge ko ba da phemba da tendele sine ngoy neju da thumba chi yimbe ngeba yo mare da te sangye rang song ra nge she be che kanga de ya tagje chi se tagje je ne so ge ne re samje theba de lang me theba de sha shos nge she ba de se je sama yimbe she sha je ne tende chi yo ma de song ra 장든 당에 된 도시에 대과 전부 시에 되네 레버다 장든에 도시에 대과 멤버 되는 도도 받아 지다 마도 Tangdu ngede yo mara sanje sung ganga ngede res, kolo tangbo de ngede re, barba da tama dozo sanje sung ma res ra khodo. Sanje sung le tangdu ji yo mara, tangdu sene sungba na shin ke lang na mendri bech. Yo mara sangba sungba na shi ke lang go res ngere. Tekba shenpo zena odi sungba na shi ke lang go ma res. Kare sene sanje ki tuje sambe wange, negab dan peke koibala siki chue sung go ya tende yungu yo res. Odi indi ko ngoyo nezu tumba da mitumba chiri yungu yo res. Sunzang sanje sung shabalya, dakje shene, kelin chokba de kare, kelin me chokba kare, kaga chegura ese, tekba shimbu keche yungura. Diyan kun doyo kuntana sanje rangi nawa yorwa. Kilong dagam kenam ge sekje dawe seshindo, lebar dala ngayi langwar chaya kuchir mes. Di tangma dili tangdun da ngay dun sosu hako achisi yora. O di indu zante, ta tangay tangdun da ngay dun se namsha chaya de chungara. Di chilo shen.
So, the context, the textual context for the categorization of these three turnings comes from this particular sutra that is requested by this particular bodhisattva named Thondam Yangtakpa, Bodhisattva Ultimate Perfection. And that bodhisattva requested Buddha in terms of, the seeming contradiction between Buddha's own teachings. He requested by saying, in the first turning, you said that things truly exist. There is Four Noble Truths, things truly exist, things inherently exist, all phenomena inherently exist. And in the second turning of the wheel of Dharma, you taught that things have no true existence, all phenomena have no intrinsic, true, independent existence. So therefore, these teachings seem contradictory, but it is impossible for the omniscient one to engage in contradictory teachings. So can you please explain why this is the case? And in response to this request, the Buddha actually gave that particular discourse where the Buddha said that he has given the teachings, because Buddha is a fully omniscient person. He knows the mental state, mental aptitude, the context, and he takes all of that into account to give a particular teaching. So therefore he said that, he gave teachings according to the mental disposition and mental level of beings or his students in caution. So for those students who may actually misunderstand the teachings when he says like there is no, everything has no true existence, which may then lead to a nihilistic conclusion, he gave the first turning of the wheel of Dharma by saying that things have true existence and so forth. So therefore he said that, the Buddha himself said that, it is not necessarily the case that because of this, because of the fact that I have given teachings to suit the mental disposition and level of disciples, my teachings should not be taken as definitive. My teachings should not be taken as literal. You should analyze the teachings to see whether they can actually withstand the test of a rational analysis, and you shouldn't take my teachings literally. And so that's why there is the Buddhist hermeneutical distinction of what we call as definitive teachings and interpretable teachings. Some teachings are definitive, we can take them as literal. Some teachings are interpretable in the sense that the Buddha gave those teachings in a particular context to a particular audience, but their meaning is not actually literal. So therefore the Buddha himself, that just like a goldsmith test whether a gold is pure or not by cutting it, rubbing it, and by melting it. Similarly, you should test my teachings and don't accept my teachings simply because the Buddha said so. And so therefore, based on this, what we have to now understand is that the Hinayana tradition does not actually recognize this distinction of teachings into interpretable and definitive teachings, because they don't accept the Mahayana sutras. And so because they follow the first turning, and the first turning, and according to the first turning, everything is definitive teaching, literal teachings, right? So therefore, the notion of interpretable teachings and definitive teachings is something that is limited to the Mahayana practitioners, the Mahayana tradition, and not Hinayana tradition or Theravadan tradition.
Oh yeah, I can do so. What did they do? I did it to what the lens do, and then the Manda Pagia, Tembalishuneta, Hako say. Some then they call it on book of Shotam Jarang Chang Giva Song Batia, Tang de Resha, Song Banashiti, Kansa, Sambala Combata, that Tang de Resha, Song Banashikanum. Colo Barbeca of Shotam Jarang Chang Giva Song Batia. Transgression, Nedrim, those that some Zambelushis in the oh yeah. That color Tamekapso, and the Sanjay song the Miguel so may call Barbeca, so may somebody Kunda Rangachin Meba, Suji Kunda Rangachin Meba, Suji Shawa Tanichi Begule Meba, Suji Yundu Shodaji Meba, Telecon the Su Mason Wager, Su Mason, Su de la Sum User. Garasne. Number tagbe source the Judan canlet and kebe suxiora. A telepani, Judan canlet and kebe sudela, this so race and she then get tanye, Mingju be shimba. Togbe, oh, this so re, did dar and did race, some time shimba to a telekundas quora. Kundagbe source. Shuniji susana, so de Pigayabade, so she be Tanjubana. Togbe, Tanjube shimba, Togbe Shembe shimba, Rangasangi Tugumare. Tingaranzupa, Mingdan, on Dilasus and Ditas and Ditiri Roses. Togbe on the Pa Mingda Sharmado, Korangon and Asus and getting Artis on getting two Tugumares. In Angaranzo Mingla Comdation. Oh, Messes on Azudejina, Mess of Sasek Janjan, Korangon, so Messes at him by the school. Tilakunda Rangachin Mados, Tradon Jugbe Shim Bade, Nazo Didis, Tanyatane, Passion or I think Aranzopa Hakoya, Geshe Kotuet on the Minta and Ram and the Social Mado, Mobokorango and Gandawasas at the Animesses at the Indas, Sutuege Omara, the Inagaran Samlin at the Drabu Yongora. Oh, they do Kunda Rangachin Maduba, Shamada Yondu, Rangachin Tuba, at this one get the Chigora, the Indusa. Oh, that color Tamekapso, Kundaki showed to the Rangachin Matu, Shamai to Jinglish showed to the Rangachin troop, Nelu Tatu the Rangachin troop Sungudo, did them by rest, Jaja, Colotama the Nedureshasi, Ashubera, Sanjum Dendelia. Or did you love? This Mzambelushi, Colotambo, Tande, Barba, Tande, Tamakuran, Toetin, Shube, Dodin Nede. That should them the Rangachin, you ever somebody marry. Kundato Rangachin Yamari, Titan the race. Some Rangachin never somebody Amari, Shamada and Duni Rangachin Yares. Said the Tintim, Tangonet Garis, Kunda showed to the Rangachin Madu, Shamada and Duni showed to the Rangachin Trubate, Colotame to Wetin Seven Dode, Nedureshase, or Tico Guara, Tijulan.
So then, in the discussion between the Bodhisattva, ultimate perfection and the Buddha, which is basically the content or the subject matter of the Sutra unraveling the intent, something in the Mochana Sutra, Bodhisattva ultimate perfection responds back to the Buddha through his own analysis by saying that, yes, now understand, when you gave the first turning of the wheel of Dharma, and you said that things have true existence, things have intrinsic existence. I understand that to be interpretable teaching. You don't really mean it literally. But there is a purpose for that. And when you gave the second turning of the wheel of Dharma, when you said that things do not have intrinsic existence, things do not have inherent existence, that is also not definitive. I also understand that you taught that for a particular audience in a particular context. So this is according to the mind-only school, the Chetamadri school, right, of their understanding of the three turnings. But now, what I understand is that I can is this the case? That when you said that things do not have things, so therefore the two turnings further need definitive interpretation to make sense. And so this is basically the third turning. And here the result of the discussion between the Bodhisattva and the Buddha was they talked about the three natures. This very Yogacharya, mind-only school terminology and concept and category, where the three natures, because and through the three natures they think that they have solved the problem of what is interpretable and what is definitive, without actually falling into the two extremes of eternalism and nihilism. And so therefore the three natures, the imputed nature, Gunda, the dependent nature, Hyawang, and then the thoroughly accomplished nature, Yongdup. And the imputed nature means, we conceptually impute something. For example, there are like some causally efficient basis of designation there, just like the windows and so forth, and the doors and the walls, and then we conceptually impute it as house. So that imputed nature does not inherently exist, because it does not speak for itself. We have to conceptually impute it. It is just basically the reference point for language. It's a linguistic reference, but it doesn't really, from its own side, it doesn't say, "Here, I'm house." But the notion of a house is imputed. So that is basically the imputed nature. So understand, the imputed nature does not inherently exist. But the dependent nature is the continuum of the causal process. The continuum of the causal process, there's like, with respect to the house, there are a lot of subatomic particles moving, and that's kind of a tree, whatever it is. There's like, causally efficient matter. That is dependent. So that truly exists. And similarly, the ultimate nature, which is thoroughly accomplished, the ultimate nature means the thoroughly, when the dependent nature is free of the imputed nature, that is the ultimate nature here. So that also truly exists. So now, with the third turning, interpretation of the interpretation of the interpretable and dependent, we have a kind of view that claims to eliminate both extremes of eternalism and nihilism by saying that imputed nature does not exist inherently, eternalism is eliminated, but dependent and thoroughly accomplished nature does exist. Therefore, nihilistic conclusion is also eliminated.
Oh yeah, that and that. Simple Changdeng Dosana, Trachishin to Sumba Nansin, Trachimachishin Kelana, Mindrigatilla, Changdeng Dosira. Did and that Shantu Changu, Sumba Nansin Mare, combat in Dindishin, Sumba Rese, combat Shantu Changu, and Changdeng Dosira. Nedes to Sumba Nansin, Trachimachishin Sumba Nansin, Dandal Nedet on all the Nedunkin Dosira. The color down work also, Chiru Gitan Yaba Sumba Rete, the Mutemba sheet on Sumba Dream to Sigomara. Chiru Yoba Sombare. Gundaki Choto Ranga Changi Yoba Sonsha, Tichane, Trandon Jago Sigora. Barbe Capso, and Gundaki Choto, Temper Mason, the dear de Shawadan Yondu, Temper Yo somebody, transition to Kelan and Drigimendose, Marimare. Carcer, or the Shawadan Yondu, Temper Mason, somebody, transition to Kelan and Drigimendo, Temper Gores or Samson Belura, Tichane Trandon to Jigdoa, or teach you love.
So therefore, according to the mind-only school or Chidamatra school, a definitive teaching is a teaching that can be literally taken or accepted, and an interpretable teaching is a teaching that cannot be literally accepted. So therefore, according to the mind-only school, the first turning is not a definitive teaching because it said that everything truly exists, intrinsically exists, whereas according to the Mahayana school, there are things that do not truly exist. For so like external phenomena does not truly exist according to the Mahayana school, and the imputed nature does not truly exist. But the first turning blanketly said that everything truly exists. So therefore, it is not to be taken literally. So therefore, it is an interpretable teaching. And then according to the Mahayana school, the second turning is also not to be taken literally, because it said that every phenomenon has no intrinsic existence, whereas there are things that do exist, even though the imputed nature does not exist, the dependent nature and the thoroughly accomplished nature truly exists. So therefore, the second turning is also the interpretable teaching, whereas the third turning, because he thoroughly discriminated what is to be accepted, what is truly existing and what is not truly existing, this is something that we can take literally. So therefore, third turning is a definitive teaching.
Oh, that umatengyo tabuyena, ya dindre marda, umatengyo ade, lokchagena, that namjung as umatengyo ade, took the toshere, tishisha with Sura. Oh, they in the teacher, Colotambuk, this Sura, Tandusana, Kunzube Chu Song Shabatu Kaka, Tandun Sigra, Kunzube Chu Soch in the Song, but the Tandun in Dosera. Karesana, Midamare Song, or the Tandun, Tilla Chave, Nelu Tadu Shandu Tango with the Ese. Pumba Midaba Sumbina, Pumba Midaba, the Pumba Nelu Tadu Rebesa, or Mara Tilla Chava, Pumba Rangwine Meva. Don't damn Mevas, Nelutadu, Shandu Tango, Nelutadu, the Tele Shandu Ores. So, Kunzu Tempen Dotozola, Trojan and Temper, Tangin Dosera. Nedensana, Tongba, Nelutadu, Rangaching Maduba, Tondamba Maduba, Ranguna Maduba, the somebody, or the so Nedres or the Nelutadure. Tele Shandu Nelutadu, Dior part on Yomare. Nedere, the Nelutadu, never a telecharging Nelu Yomara. Telling Nedangin Dosera. Tachi Shindo Kelando Roma Sigmare. Donda shared Kunzub George and Shagdona Tanture. Dondam Shagdona thing at her Sierra. Or this is on Colotambo also Dame Badan, Tezu somebody, Nedere. Kunzub somebody chatters, Tandure Sera. Colobarba, Chotam Jaranga Changi Maduba somebody, Nedere Sera. Nelu Tadure, don't number Meba somebody, Gunda Yana Shawana Kanga, don't number Madura, or Tenjo Luciana. Tea doesn't call Chotam J. Shijan, Dirk of the Chotam J. Don't number Maduba somebody, near the Esigra. The Colotame comes to Tondamianda Paga Shibe, Gunda Gicho to the Rangachin, Madu Shamancho, Rangachin, Tubasum Bashora, or did Tondure Esigra, Sanyegi. Tuje sambala konde sem zambateta che sunge chedo ne sungbare ese tuje wange sungbare ese koba yore ese utichilam.
So that is the Yogacara or mind-only school traditions understanding of what is interpretable and definitive teachings, and how the three turnings are categorized as either definitive and interpretable teachings. But that is not the position of the Prasangika Madhyamika school of philosophy, which is the highest philosophical school. According to the Prasangika Madhyamika school, definitive teaching is an interpretable teaching. An interpretable teaching is teaching that primarily teaches conventional truth or conventional reality. For example, teachings on impermanence, that is interpretable teaching because that is not the ultimate reality. The ultimate reality still must be interpreted, not as emptiness, not as impermanence, but as emptiness. So therefore, all the conventional teachings, and so therefore all the discourses of sutras that primarily teaches conventional teachings are what we call as interpretable teachings. Whereas those discourses that primarily expounds on the subject of ultimate reality, they are referred to as definitive teachings, because in terms of ultimate reality, that is definitive, no more ultimate, no more profound teachings than that. So then what about like three turnings of the wheel of Dharma, whether they are interpretable or definitive according to the Prasangika Madhyamika school of philosophy. So, with respect to the first turning, most of the teachings are interpretable teachings, but there are some teachings on selflessness, and those teachings are definitive teachings. And the second turning, with respect to the second turning, the Buddha taught about how every phenomenon is devoid of intrinsic existence, true existence. So therefore, second turning is all definitive teachings. And then the third turning, according to the Prasangika Madhyamika philosophy, is interpretable teachings. It is not definitive teachings. The three natures teachings is given to the Yogacarya disciples in order to uphold them as disciples, in order that they may still get the teachings eventually. But this is kind of a temporary teaching for the mind-only school teachings students.
뭐야, 다인도 장애 제발라 장애 가르스 제고래스나 다 제베 탑들이야. 덤바시시. 그러나 다들 참 사지를 뭐 되시는 거. 어디다 덤바시시. 알아. 전에 공부전 시세를 된대요라. 덤바시시. 공부전 시세. 와탈 좀 거는 지랍sana. 덤바시 릭바시 세된대요라. 장도 간저 제고래스도 그게 상계 손셰베 공부전에 도들 공부션다 현도 시에네. 뒤제 삼발 따기다게 시에네 내가 타도 그 시에네. 장도당에도 망부 손셰요라. 공부션다를 시에네. 내가 티 손셰된데 망부요라. 다때서 간저제 장이 채고래서나 릭바시요라. 릭바시 삼을 당고제라. 되베 릭바. 자와지베 릭바. 라 태주비 릭바. 춘이지 릭바시. 릭바시시. 다 되나시 아주 간데 삼을 당고래서나 강사람 매든 철했던 시라. 생견의 수레도 상계네 심장의 소소교 탐해바시나 상계네 그 수시에도 되는 상계 손세 강거래서 개만라시라. 강사람 매든세 강사의 상계네 소소교 탐해바도 요시라 지담면시. 대저 상계 손샤레서 이시 마치서래. 데코 소소교지샤 데인지 말고 계신 말에서 삼당 요 말에서라. 다 돈다도 가르셔도 다오래. 강사람에도 강사가 전에 이치 마치 개말에 강사람에도 철에도 그셰 돈다도 가르셔도 디다 띵원에 레데도 어디 렉바셰샤 디레스 켈랑고래서라. 디마도 디간조 상계 송바레 디장주 선바 송바레 디킨딘 송바레 디지징에 겐라 송고도세 켈랭주 매송라. 디티체레 가르셔레. 강사람에도 철했다스. 철칙람에도 장랐다샤라. 철대 칙라착보셰 덴데셰들 마다서라. 칙라착보 되가 말해. 돈다데 하고 되어라. 칙라착보셰 마셰마다 탐메베 칙셰거든. 돈다데 가르셰도 다네. 디조셔오레 소라. 철칙람 칙돈 가르셰. 철칙람에도 장랐다샤데. 돈다 가르쳐도 나중에 책 다착보라지 셔도 지체도네 디임버상으로 어디 삼단 요고 돈다 가르쳐도 책 탐매베 책이 겁다 트마트네 개와요 말 돈다데 따오래셔라 돈다 야고셔도 틀리 이던 거래 이시셔고래 켈라는 그래셔라 초치글람메데 따라다스 라와 디딩실랍세 마운트마토 알리티소
So then, how do we discern or discriminate what is interpretable teaching and what is definitive teaching? So the Buddha said that we have to rely on our reasoning, relying on logic and reasoning, and we have to rely on what he referred to as 4 types of reliances. So the reasoning is, he talked about 4 types of reasonings. Reasoning based on dependent origination, reasoning dependent on the function of entities, reasoning based on conventional reality, reasoning that is based on ultimate reality. But then we have to use these different types of logics. But then he talked about 4 types of reliances. The first reliance is rely not on the person, but on the teaching that person gives. So, you cannot, so the meaning is that, we cannot say, oh, this is given by an ordinary person, so, I'm not going to actually listen to the teachings, or, like analyze the teachings, or reflect on the teachings. Oh, this is teaching given by the Buddha, so it must be true. I'm not going to analyze. The Buddha said, this is not a proper way. It could be given by the Buddha, it could be given by an ordinary person, but you don't look at the person, but look at the content of the teachings and reflect on that to whether accept to see whether you can accept it or not. The second reliance is, in terms of teachings, don't rely on words, but rely on the meaning. I'll say, sometimes the words could be really beautiful, elegant, but the meaning is not necessarily good, or appropriate or logical. So therefore, don't rely on words, but rely on the meaning of the teachings. No?
Bisa. Oh yeah, ini bisa. Da kawalas tandula medang, chechula medang. Oh reda, tada. Oh, da dene dira karsora. Chechula medang da. Tandula medang ngedula tu jara. Surab shengen tu so yanko. Ne tandula kunju kor shengen da. Ya tandam kor shengen yora. Tena shi tachi shimba kelan du ronga do da melimba kel yora. Oh, to tandula gendo to shisha chigam. Ngedun gendo to shisha chen tawre shara.
Then in terms of the meaning of the teachings, rely on the definitive meaning, not on the interpretable meaning. So therefore, some teachings, their meaning is to be interpreted, don't rely on those, but rely on those teachings that are definitive in meaning.
Namsila mede isila to shade. Ngaranzo soso ke namshege nangju dan tungju le ta yu ma re se. Ro. Pagbe toba samba komba chese ko nelu thadu singenge nyamsha ge sikju to zula ya ta go re sungora.
And then finally, don't rely on ordinary consciousness alone, but rely on the meditative experience of the people who have directly understood emptiness. Look at their mind state, rely on their mental state, as opposed to ordinary mental state.
Da rigba shide. Da shalon do we. Tebe rigba shira. Tebe rigba shide. Gyudan ken la tejin del nen drebu jungdan jungla kanden do tezul sam ta wo re shire. Tene dangshi dan chasha la tene pan jiden ge tanya kande shigdo tele ta wo re. Tezul tene ene tangde dan nge tun je go re sungora. Tanda ko ngoy nezule kedan kilo gyudan ken ge chedan chelo kanden do teze sam ta ngora. Ene chasha da dangshi le tene pan jiden tanya pa ta do tene ta ko kande re so to yeah.
So the first kind of reasonings, we talked about the reasonings. The first is the reasoning based on dependent arising. And that is basically, we have to look at how based on causes and conditions, based on the basis of designation, such as the paths of a thing, that things are imputed or things are labeled.
Tenjin Jabari Jongala Tene, and in Eludungone Remare, Tawre Sungora, Tawasi Machi, Mobu Koranga Chawacheta, Keda Kiluda, Tanya Shagna Tuzul Tene, and then one Yame Taw Sungora.
So basically, by reflecting on the dependent nature of phenomena, we should try to understand the ultimate nature, ultimate meaning, and not just because of belief system.
Oh, then it's Chawachebe Ribasera. Oh, Chawachebe Ribasera. Oh, today, Chidanko, Kudanking Chawachedan Chilu, Tele, some Shora, some Chogre, Timana Bena Miduba is a common, Yamo, Shenja de Shushon, the Miduba Congura, Soso Ludan Shen, so Miduba Com. Miduba Comedia, Chagwa de Churu, but the Toza Hakugura, Soja Hakugura. Sinati Jawa Cheba, Ti Combalatin and Yamocho Drugdoa, oh, Nimanashi Remedoa, Saba Comna, Conduchon Drugdoasam, Teletin or Dash and that of the Comgina, I think one at the Ikea is a resum.
And the second reasoning is reasoning based on functional efficiency. And that basically means, of course, like looking at causes and conditions that gives result to a particular effect. But also, if you look like in terms of whether the teachings on how to reduce or eliminate defilements are true or not, we should look at the functional efficiency of these teachings. For example, if through practice of patience, we can see, experience, and test if it actually reduces our anger. And if we find that it reduces anger, then it's a sign that in terms of functional efficiency, it is a true teaching. Or we may be asked to reflect on the ugliness of form to eliminate desire or strong attachment, and to see if that actually works. If it works, then from the point of view of reasoning based on functional efficiency, we can infer that the teachings are true. So we're going to stop here. The time is over. Thank you so much.
May all beings have happiness. May they be free from suffering. May they find the joy that has never known suffering. May they be free from attachment.